So tell me, is the only time Picard gets a family is when stuff like this happens? He only gets a fantasy family. He never gets a real one. So anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no theme music, none of that stuff going on here. What you see is what you get. Very low budget. And I'm a series person. I like to read series. If you please check out my daily book videos. We just finished Victoria Thompson's Gaslight series. We are running towards the end of James Patterson's Alex Cross series, and we are doing J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I've got a few other series lined up. And we are doing Star Trek Next Generation recapping. I wish I could sit here and let the video run and talk about the show and provide commentary as the show goes on. But there are, of course, copyright issues, and I'm just an itty bitty person. I am, nobody. I just talk about it, and I don't want to get in trouble or anything like that. And I would hope that you would watch these videos. These take a lot of work. Even the little bit I do takes a lot of work. So I hope that you will stay tuned. We are in the very last disc, season 5. This is disc 7, and this is episode 225. And there's only one other episode, Time's Arrow Part 1, which is a good episode, where they do the time travel thing, and they go back to the West. And they see Mark Twain and Guinan and all that kind of stuff. So those will be 2 fun episodes. It's a 2-parter. But we got to deal with this one first. We got to deal with Picard having a life. And the fact that he goes through so much in this episode, and it's only 30 minutes or less in real time for them. He spends time with this woman. They end up having children. He has grandchildren. He has an entire family. He's grown old. And yet it's only been 25 minutes. So he's been through all of this, and then he wakes up and it's only been 25 minutes. He's lived 50 years in his brain, and it's only been 25 minutes. And if you want to see her identity, please check out my New Year's Eve Dirty 30 video. We did all of Johnny Ivanovich last year. We did all of J.D. Robb last year. I'm a series person. We did all those. I'm getting ready to do another J.D. Robb. In another couple weeks, we'll have the new one come out. Woohoo! Can't wait. Can't wait. So this is the Inner Light. And we start the episode with a little bit of a voiceover. Captain's log, Stardate 45944.1. Following the magnetic wave survey of Pavenium sector, we've detected an object which cannot immediately identify. So, there's the object. Looks a little bit like a boomerang. Looks a little bit like, maybe the Death Glides in Star Wars. We've seen this in other places too. We've seen this design. But, so Picard's, they see the object, they put it on the view screen. Picard tells Data to magnify. He does. Data says it appears to be some kind of probe. There's no Starfleet record of this shape or design. Worf, is it scanning us? Riker asks. Worf says no, but it has resumed a relative position and is holding course with us. Data said the probe is composed of pycesium and talagonite ceramic alloy. It is not very sophisticated technology, but for all they do and for all he goes through in the next 30 minutes, is a lot. So, Worf says, I'm detecting low-level nucleonic beam coming from the probe. Riker says, shields up. Data says the beam is scanning the shield's perimeter. The probe is emitting an unusual particle stream. The beam is penetrating our shields, Worf said. Picard says increase our power. He gets caught in something. There's a little more close-up picture of it. Spinning top, maybe. Picard faints. Riker catches him. Picard wakes up, and there's this woman looking at him. So when he initially comes to, they tell him he was sick with a fever. He says computer freeze program, computer end program. It doesn't work. He tries to contact the Enterprise. He doesn't have any things here. She asks what this place is. She says this is your home. Again, I'm thinking, does this only happen to Picard in fantasy life only? He asks if he's a prisoner. She tells him he had a fever for several days and she mustn't push herself. He goes outside. He's got this outfit on. Is that similar to what he wore when he was home in Picard season 3 in season 1 of Picard when he was in Italy with his grapes and stuff? Is that the same similar outfit he wears? Somebody will have to tell me. I don't remember. So he goes outside. It's really hot. He explores. He watches them planting a tree. He meets Bataille. Well, I hope you can still hear me. I tried messing around with the thing. I got a new piece of equipment in the mail. And I can't figure out how to work it. So we'll see what happens. I hope you can still hear me. I hope you're still here. This is gonna really kill me if I play this video back later and you don't hear me. Let me just double check this. I don't know. I hope you can still hear me. That's all I'm gonna say before I have an absolute panic attack and stuff. So anyways, he goes to the courtyard and Bataille says, thank you. This sapling is planted as an affirmation of life in defiance of the drought with expectations of long life. Whatever comes, we will keep it alive as a symbol of our survival. Cayman, you're back on your feet. How do you feel, my friend? And Picard's like, are you in charge? And he's like, I want to be returned to my ship immediately. What ship? Please just tell me, what place is this? Where am I? The fever has taken your memory, he says. Wrong button. Oh, this is just a cool thing of the tree. I hope you can still hear me. Lord have mercy. I hope you can still hear me. I don't know what I did to screw all this crap up, but let's continue with this story before I have a heart attack here. So he asks them, please just tell me, what is this place? Where am I? He says, the fever, it's taking your memory. That must be. Perhaps you can help me. Anything, my friend. My name is Cameron. Yes. And you are, I'm Bataille, Council Leader Bataille. And you say I've been ill. For more than a week, Elaine should have put you in the hospital, but she insisted on caring for you herself. Elaine, your wife. I don't remember that. Maybe it's safer not to go home. What is this place? Perhaps you should see the doctor. No, please. I'm sure it'll all come back to me. This community is Resic, Northern Providence. What planet? Let me take you home. No, really, I'm quite all right. Just answer me, what planet? This is the planet Catan. Not a Federation planet. I think I'll just walk. But you've been ill for a week. The exercise will do me good. I'll try to reacquaint myself with the surroundings. And he goes on a little bit of a hike. So, I wanted to ask, when we get back to the village scenes, if when Data has the battery device, the nuclear device, when he gets stranded, there's also the one where the people won't leave the settlement, um, and this other race wants the planet back. There's that one. There's a few where they use this. I'm pretty sure this is a familiar set that they've used this before. But anyway, he goes off and he's looking at the river that's gotten really, really small. I don't know why they don't listen to him in how to improve their life, but they don't. And then we return to the house. So he actually knocks on his own front door to come in. She touches the panel up at the top instead of a doorknob for him to come in. And he becomes resigned. Oh, wait a second. That he's really on this planet. She feeds him some soup. The whole time she's got him with the soup. Wait a second. It's not even a plate. Well, it's a plate, but it's not really a bowl. She gives him one scoop of whatever it is. He eats it. There's no beverage to go with it. The whole time I'm thinking he needs a beverage. Even if he's acting, he still needs a beverage. Picard says he's hungry, thirsty, and exhausted. He supposes that it's not a dream. Elaine said, "This is, you think your life is a dream? This is not my life. I know that much. I've kept something hot for you. And where did you go? I walked for hours." She gives him the soup. He says it's delicious. She says you always say that. "Would you try to answer some questions to me, no matter how strange?" And she's like, "Of course. There are other planets in this star system. Do you visit us other systems? All right. Do you have communication systems here? How do you send messages to other communities, to other places?" The usual way, by the voice transit conductor. "Do you want to send a message?" And he's like, "Yes. When can it be arranged?" And she's like, "Tomorrow." "Don't you want to ask about us?" "Of course. Anything you can tell me will be helpful. We're married. 3 years ago, the happiest day of my life was the day we got married. And what do I do here in Wessex?" "You're the best iron weaver in the community," she says. What's an iron weaver? I need to look that up. At least I think so. You prefer playing the flute, of course. The flute? And I'm still thinking he needs that beverage. Um, and we'll talk about that at the end. She fetches him the penny whistle. He tries to play with it. "I see what you mean. Well, thank you for the soup. Thank you for your help. Tomorrow, will you help me send the message?" She wants him to come to bed. He's like, "No, I'll just sleep on the couch." And she's like begging. He goes, "I may be tossing and turning and that kind of stuff." And she's like, "No." Um, and then we get the wake up call that we've been waiting for. So then we, the viewers, discover that Picard is still laying on the floor of the bridge. They couldn't have moved him to sick bay, but they kept him right there on the floor. Riker, Beverly comes up. Pulse, blood pressure normal. She's getting hyperactive fibrogenic activity, which is odd. What is that? Crusher says there's no evidence of injury or trauma. Vital signs are normal, but the neurotransmitter production is off the scale. What's going on? Riker says that probe is doing something to him. Anything yet, Data? Data says, "No, sir. The particle emission is most unusual. I am unable to block it." Worf said we should destroy it. Phasers are armed and ready. Crusher says, "I don't think that's wise until we know exactly what it's doing to him." Riker agreed. "Stand down phasers. Mr. Worf, in the meantime, take us out of range. Ensign thrusters 100 kp, nice and easy." Aye. They move the ship out of range, and the thing follows. So then we're back on the planet again. He's looking through his little telescope. She says, "You've been dreaming of that starship of yours again, haven't you?" He says he's just charting the progress of the sun. It might give a clue to the cause of this drought. She says, "I think you're trying to figure out where you are, where that chip of yours is, how to get that life back." And now we learn that to him, it's been 5 years since this has all started. Where on the ship, it's probably been about 10 minutes. Even that, maybe it's only been 5 minutes, on the ship. Because when Riker says this is all over, said and done, it's only 25 minutes. So maybe each one of these things is a 5-year jump. But some of the jumps are bigger than that, because then he ends up really old. And he's got all this extra hair. Apparently he doesn't see a barber in this new timeline. She goes, so she's talking to him. "Was your life so much better there? So much more gratifying? So much more filling? Did you cling to such stubbornness?" She says, "It must have been extraordinary. Never in all the stories you told me have you mentioned anyone who loved you. It was real. It was real as this, and you can't expect me to forget a lifetime spent there." "Yes, I can. I've been patient, came in for 5 years. I've shared with you that other life. I've listened. I've tried to understand. I've waited. When do I get you back? I know it's been hard on you. When will you let this go? When will you start living this life? When will we start a family?" And then Bataille comes by, supposedly his new best friend. Oops, wrong button. So then Bataille comes by. He wants to go talk to the administrator. So they go talk to the administrator about his idea. So they talk to the administrator. He wants to know why they have this tree that's doing so well. He says that everybody in the village has sacrificed a small portion of their water rations to keep the tree alive as a sign of hope. Picard tries to speak to the administrator about building atmospheric condensers. The administrator says, "I don't mean to squash your creative ideas, but atmospheric condensers would be a monumental undertaking. We could not hope to sustain such a project. Each community could be responsible for their own," Picard says. "Condensers could make a difference between watching our crops or growing up, so watching them die." The administration said, "We'll be glad to pass along your idea. You see that this kind of participatory government works for everyone," and the administrator leaves. Picard says, "There will be no atmospheric condensers." And Bataille says, "These things take time. I'm sure they'll happen." Well, Picard invites him to dinner, and they go and talk. He had a conversation with Bataille. He was at the playing his flute. Then Elaine comes out. Bataille goes home. She's picking up a card for walking around in bare feet. All his time on the Enterprise, he wore shoes. Now, all of a sudden, on this planet, he's not wearing shoes anymore. So he's probably been here about 10 years or so by now. And so he's probably been out unconscious on the bridge of the Enterprise for about 10 minutes now. In his mind, he's gotten older. He's been on this planet. He's trying to do this stuff. And then he decides that he wants to build a nursery with her and start having children. She's all excited. She thinks it's a great idea. Okay, so then we're back on the Enterprise. Riker says, "Geordi, any progress in identifying the probe?" Geordi says, "Maybe I picked up some residue on the probe shell. I think it came from the propulsion system. Looks like it's a solid propellant as fuel." Solid propellant. Sensors read this stuff as crystalline emerald. If it produces a radioactive trail that ought to be traceable, then we should be able to send out a probe of our own and trace it back to the origin. Geordi says, "I'll get right on it." Data says, "Commander, I've been analyzing the nuclear beam, I believe it would be possible to reflect the particles back toward the probe in a way that would disrupt the signal. And Dr. Crusher doesn't think it's a good idea. I'm not willing to let this thing keep drilling into him. Riker says, if somebody gets stabbed, it isn't necessarily pull the knife out right away. We do more harm than leaving it in there. What feels like the captain is under attack, we must act. And Riker, like, I'm inclined to agree, Dr. Monitor closely, data prepared to disrupt the beam. We shall try to cut this cord. Here, and Picard is playing his flute really well. They've got the little girl. They've just had a son. They're both really older. Picard's got more hair. So, and they're dating the boy after Batai, who died a few years ago. And it was his best friend. And then Picard collapses. So they start working on him. He's still on the floor of the bridge. His respiratory system is in spasm, pulses are irregular and weakening. Crusher says she's losing him. The nurse says, I'm getting massive physical failure. Crusher says 2cc dual activating. Riker says they didn't get the stream back. There are fluctuations in the isocortex, and synapses responses are failing. He's going into cardiac induction. The nurse says blood pressure is dropping rapidly, 70/20. Data, you've got to reestablish that beam. Data says he's attempting to do so. Swigger says losing response in the cortex. Pressure says stimulated 10%. Data says the beam is restored. And then his blood pressure rises and he's returning to normal again. And when we return to the planet, everybody is much, much older again. So we get back to the planet and everybody's at least 10 to 15 years older. And she's working outside. She says she's analyzing soil samples. The soil is dead. The drought is going to last a very long time. She's trying to confront Picard on this issue. They talk about her fiance Danik and how she should not, let life pass her by like this. That she needs to take advantage of it. So she's going to seize the time. So Beverly tells Riker that his vital signs are holding. They've been stable ever since the beam was restored. Jodie says Riker, we started to receive telemetry from the probe. Jodie says we've charted the aliens probe radiation trail for over 1 light year. Anyway, to exploit that on Origins, Jodie says it looks like a star system in the Solarian sector, Cape Time. Ever heard of it, Data? Data says it's an unmapped system of 6 planets, sir. Any of them inhabited? Data says not any longer. The star went over. All life in the system was destroyed over 1,000 years ago. And then we're back to the planet again. Picard and his wife are so much older now. I say at least another 10 or 15 years have passed by. His son wants to quit school and take musical lessons and become a musician. Picard agrees that he can do whatever he wants. And I'm sitting there waiting for him to come out of the closet. He looks like a grown-up Wesley Crusher, don't he? He's supposed to be a grown-up Picard or a kid Picard. Picard is once again trying to talk to the administrator about telling everybody that the planet is doomed. Picard says the facts are there, at least show them to someone who will recognize that. I won't be party to you making trouble. If you won't take them, I certainly will. Your observations you're finding our scientists reached the same conclusions 2 years ago. Well, what do you expect us to do? Make it public? Can you imagine the effect? Picard says, but surely the technology must exist to save something of this world. Perhaps some people could be evacuated. Evacuated from where, he says. Technology is limited. We're just beginning to launch small missiles. A collection of genetic samples, something, anything. You cannot simply let the civilization die. The administrator, enough. There is plan and work. I can tell you, cannot tell you more than that. And then we discover that his wife has died, or she's dying. She dies in his life. This is the doctor tending the mother, and Picard comes in. Now his daughter has grown. She has children of her own. She's married. Another X number of years have passed on. Picard has gotten that much older. She wants him to come out and experience the launch of the probe. All will be. He's gotten really cold. They're outside to watch the launch. We just need to fix this again. I clicked it wrong. Now, having seen Picard, having seen Patrick Stewart in Picard 1, 2, and 3, we know he doesn't even look remotely this bad in the Picard 1, 2, and 3 pictures. But they watched the probe, and it turns out to be the same one that they were looking at on the bridge of the Enterprise. Probe, and Batai comes forward, and they say, "Seen it? What are you talking about? I haven't seen any missile." "Yes, you have, old friend. Don't you remember, Batai? You saw it just before you came here. We hoped our probe would encounter someone in the future. Someone who could be a teacher, someone who could tell the others about us. Oh, it's me, isn't it? I'm the someone. I'm the one that finds. That's what this is launched. It's a probe that finds me in the future." Yes, and then his wife reappears. "The rest of us have been gone for 1,000 years. If you remember what we were, and how we lived, and then how we found life again." And the rocket soars into the sky, and they say goodbye. Her, the wife, the kids, the whole village is there saying goodbye to Picard. Picard wakes up. They're all standing around him. He tries to get up. "Captain, this is the Enterprise. I'm Jean-Luc Picard. How long?" Riker says 20, 25 minutes. 25 minutes? "Captain, I want you in sick bay. I'd like to run a full diagnostic on you." "For sure." He pauses and they turn around to look at everybody on the ship. Let me see if I can catch this. Hold on. Now, I would like to point out that if this had been a real emergency situation, isn't the first thing they do is cut your shirt, open it up, put the things on you, and do all this medical stuff, and do all the readings, and his uniform is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. They never even bothered to do anything to his physical body. They never even tried to move him into a sick bay. Sorry. Riker brings in this box. They were examining the probe. It has ceased functioning, and whatever, it was self-terminating. It's no longer functioning. They found the little box inside. It's the flute. Riker gives him to it, and leaves, and Picard takes it out. He takes the whistle out and he starts playing it. And after watching some future television show that's most excellent and involves time travel, he plays, and I kid you not, Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be me? And I can't sing or hold a tune. So that's the end of this one. So that's the end of the inner light. And now that we have done, sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Sing that lass be me. Mary of his soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Well, now we are actually going to go back in time. In Time's Arrow Part 1 next week. So please hit the like and subscribe and let me know if I'm doing a good job. And hopefully you heard this whole entire video. Or it'll be a video out there completely in silence. And please don't forget to check out If Then later this afternoon. Most appreciative. I will unfortunately find you flashback and my daily book reviews. Have a good one.